So you guys are in, right?
We are in the meeting room. So you got to let us in. Oh, waiting room. There's more at the top.
What if I don't want to let you in?
You'll have a lonely Zoom meeting.
All right. Is just one of us that I have to let in?
I think Liz was also trying to get on. She's on his teammate. Oh, yeah.
You see her?
No, participants, that's you.
Yeah. Yeah.
She might have logged out waiting for us to get this resolved.
Yeah, well, we may have it resolved now. We don't know that.
The third one popped in.
Okay, 2 people.
Oh, there's Liz. So she's in here now.
Well, I'm hoping. Look at this. Okay, admit.
Okay.
All righty, thanks.
Yeah.
Did anybody else?
Let's see. Our message is just Morgan and Liz. So looks like
Okay.
might be it.
Let's see if we can get over to where we need to. Come on. Okay, here we go. All righty then. Welcome, everyone. Good to be here with you today. And I'm getting better at figuring this crap out. Actually, it used to work. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I've had my morning drink. Let's get started. So every year, IAR goes through the forums and says, what can we screw up for everybody next year? And they come up with changes. Only this year, I will have to say that I think that all the changes are good changes. So these are the forms that are changing: the purchase agreement, improved property, as well as the unimproved. We're not going to pay much attention to the unimproved today, because if you know what the changes are on the improved, you just move them over to the unimproved when you're doing the form. The listing contract, the multiple offer addendum, and the alternative dispute resolution. The one with the biggest changes, of course, is the purchase agreement. So we're going to go to, this says, the new wording says the buyer retains the option to proceed toward closing at the agreed upon purchase price. If the buyer is not willing or able to proceed at the agreed upon purchase price, then 1, either party may terminate this agreement, or 2, parties may mutually agree to amend the agreed upon price. So I think all this does really is give the buyer the opportunity to get their earnest money back. We're going to go to line 29 now. We also do not have a touch screen. Okay. So here's the old reference. Upon the property appraising at no less than the agreed to purchase price, if appraised value is less than the agreed upon purchase price, either party may terminate this agreement, or parties may mutually agree to move forward. There's not a lot of difference there, to be honest. But that is one difference. And I think they just want to make it clear. It says to provide the buyer the option of continuing with the transaction at the purchase price if the appraisal is lower than the purchase price. To be honest with you guys, I thought that was always a possibility. The next one is on line 74, the purchase agreement. And it just added the buyer is or is not using a down payment assistance program that may require an inspection. So the purpose of that is if somebody's using Indiana Housing or a VA or even an FHA loan, they want us to make sure that the seller understands that basically if you do an inspection, you're not quite finished with inspections until the appraisal is done. So that just basically gives notice to the seller that that is a possibility. You need to be able to explain that to your sellers when you're presenting an offer and this box is checked or is not checked. Then the next purchase agreement change is on lines 149 through 151. The buyer's intended use of the property is, so we didn't used to have that single family owner occupied use, or there's another now. Before is just you had so many days to have a consideration as to if it was going to meet the needs of the buyer. Now we're kind of making that a little bit easier for people to understand, because most people are buying because they're going to live in it. But if you're buying it for some other reason, the only example that I have to this is we did have an agent once that this particular part of the purchase agreement got him in trouble because they didn't, they were going to check that they could withdraw if it didn't meet their requirements. So they were going to make an offer, and the agent on the other side for some reason called him and said, hey, look, if you're making an offer, don't check that box because our seller is going to reject it. So they didn't check the box. And as it turned out, the property they were trying to buy, which was in Sellersburg, was actually a commercial property. They were buying it for residential, and they found out that the city of Sellersburg, or the town of Sellersburg, would not allow people to use it as a residential property any longer. And so they were kind of stuck. They got it worked out, but they could have been really stuck and would have had to move forward with the purchase if this was the only reason they had to back out, because they didn't make this request. So anyway, so this just makes it a little bit more clear for people to have that opportunity to say, I want to use it for something else. But again, we're probably 9 times out of 10, maybe more than that, going to check single family owner occupied. All right, so the next, yes.
Sorry, can we go back to that one? We were talking about this in our team meeting. For the other, if we know we're buying it for a flip or something like that, we're assuming that we would need to just put investment in that line, or do you have another word that you think would be?
Yeah, that
better?
should work. So in that case, if you put other and then write in investment, and you find out later that, you know, wherever it is, they won't allow them to rent it out. So let's say you're buying a condo where the condo association says, you know, you can't buy this as an investment property because we're not going to let you rent it out. So there's an apartment complex that was converted to condos in Jeffersonville that's got that situation going on right now. When it first became a condo, they could rent it out. Then the condo association said, no, you can't do that anymore. So anybody that's currently renting, when their lease is up, they either have to purchase it to live in it, or the seller has to sell it, or the owner has to sell it, because they can no longer rent it out, or the seller obviously could live in it.
Okay.
So that's the purpose of this. Yeah, but that's right. You would check other and type in investment.
Okay, thank you.
Or if it was, you know, you want to open a, I don't know, jewelry store, you'd check other and then jewelry store. And then if they couldn't because of some reason, then they'd be able to back out.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Just be sure you give your client in a situation like that enough days to make that consideration. Okay, got that one? Are we good, Morgan?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, oh, you're welcome. All right, so the next one is on unimproved property, and it adds soil samples, soil test, and site analysis to the agreement on line 163, and that's to include common testing for unimproved properties. So this allows the person to make those tests. They should have been able to anyway, but now it's very clear that they have the right to do these sort of tests. So now I think that would apply more to people that are buying a property and going to put in a septic system, or if you're going to buy an old gas station or something, then soil samples might be required. This gives you the right to do that in the contract without spelling it out. Any questions there? Okay, seeing none, we'll move forward. Now we're on the listing contract. And this is a good thing. So on line 30 of the listing contract, it says, if applicable, any smart home devices should be addressed in this paragraph. So let's go to the listing contract, line 30. Again, I'm used to a touch screen. So that's, it really kind of starts at line 28. Seller agrees to pay, oh no, next line down, sorry, 29. Property offered for sale. The above list price includes the property and all improvements and fixtures permanently installed and affixed thereto, except, this is where I think they insert this that line that, I'm gonna go back to it, that if applicable, any smart home devices should be addressed in this paragraph. This, I guess, has really become a big issue. I've not run into it myself, but obviously people, for some reason, want to take their smart thermostat with them or whatever. So, as you're writing a purchase agreement, if your client wants that stuff, then they really need to spell that out in the purchase agreement, because it's actually considered personal property, which kind of makes me crazy because it is attached, right? But anyway, so smart devices are addressed there. Any questions on that? Okay, cool. So that's the only change, I believe, to the listing contract. Now we're at the multiple offers. So I guess that people in the past maybe thought that once I notified that we're in a multiple offer situation, I cannot accept other offers that I've not received before. So this makes that a little bit more clear. Additional offers not previously received may be considered. So as it says there, notifying the buyer that in the event one or more offers are submitted to the seller after the multiple offer addendum is provided, the seller may consider such offers. So I didn't think that that was ever a problem, but this kind of makes it clear if it was a problem, it shouldn't be anymore. Any questions on that? Have you guys ever said in a multiple offer situation, so you get 3 multiple offers, you send them the notice, and then you get a 4th offer. Have you ever said to the 4th offer, no, sorry, you can't participate? Yeah.
No, because we have to present it.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know why you would think that, that 4th offer couldn't participate in that situation, but whatever. This helps clarify it for those of us who don't understand how things really should work. Multiple offers, alternative dispute limit is changed. So now in the state of Indiana, apparently the maximum that you can go to small claims court for is $6,000. The form that we currently have has a $5,000 limit. Sorry, it turned on you, but I got to look at the form here. Yeah. The one that we use has a $5,000 limit. So this one, I believe, is the form that we produced as a board of realtors. Yes, we did. So the state form was $3,500. Now it's going to be changed to $6,000. So everybody needs to be aware of that. So the jurisdictional limits on small claims in Indiana are now at least $6,000. So from this point on, if there's less than $6,000 worth of stuff, they can take it to small claims court. Any questions on that? Okay, cool. Thanks to the IR for screwing stuff up for us on a regular basis. That's it, guys. There are very few changes this year. The biggest changes are to the purchase agreement. So any questions about any of that? Cool. So the Paxton group, they got their act together. They're ready. I don't know where everybody else is, but at least you guys got it. So from now on, when somebody says something about the form changes, I'm going to refer them to the Paxton group. How about that? Yeah, Morgan in
Kristen?
particular.
No,
Yeah.
Kristen.
Yeah. So again, there's
New
not
phone,
very
who
many.
dis?
Yeah, not many changes this year. And Morgan, I still don't have an answer on those 5 factors that apply to our E&O. I've talked to Craig about it. He doesn't remember the 5 either. So we're going to try and get an answer for you on that at some point.
I could
Right
remember
now,
the date. I remember that we started talking about it at a partner meeting. So it might be on the YouTube channel, but I don't want to go through all the partner meetings to figure out which one it was.
yeah, well, yeah, because we've had a few. So yeah, I agree. It would be a little difficult. We'll figure it out. Right now, with our E&O, we've always had a problem, even, 8 years ago when I was here, when our E&O policy expires, is right at the same time the state of Kentucky in particular requires our new policy to be presented to them. So it's always expired. Theirs expires like December 15th. Our policy doesn't start till January 15th. It doesn't expire till then. So we've always had an issue with, it happened this year, just to a few agents, where the state of Kentucky canceled their license because, according to the state of Kentucky, they thought their E&O had canceled, that it wasn't in effect anymore, when in fact it was. We got it worked out, and we think that from now on, it won't be a problem. But we're just dealing with that with our E&O company, our insurance company right now. So we haven't had time to ask them about those 5 things. We'll get around to it though. That's it, guys. I don't have anything else unless you do. And I'm happy to answer any questions that I can that you have.
Nope, just wanted to hear it from your mouth on the updates. I think we're good
Okay.
this week.
Cool. So I don't know if I'll see you guys again before Christmas. If I don't, Merry Christmas. I'm sure I'll see you after and before the new year. Just, and by the way, these forms are not available to any of us until January 1st. I had asked if I could just have a sample of the form so I could show you what it actually looked like, and the state will not allow it. Craziness, but that's the way the state operates. All right, guys, then have a good rest of the day, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Merry Christmas
you're
to you
welcome.
too.
Thanks. Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Bye.